Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Docking Projections. My name is Lucas, and Eric's birthday is today. Happy birthday to him. Sadly, he couldn't make it today because of that. I'm sure some of you knew about it. Let's all wish him a happy birthday in the comments today. Anyways, um, today I'll be giving my 2020 Senate election predictions for the election in November. These elections will be held concurrently with the presidential election, which the last two episodes were about. So today we're going to be talking about the Senate, and with that being said, let's get right into it. So as always, I will start by putting in all these safe Senate seats. Oregon probably will go to the Democrat there. Massachusetts, it's interesting Markey might lose his seat, but it's likely going to be won by Joe Kennedy anyway, so it will be staying Democratic, regardless of who wins that Democratic primary, because it does seem to be tightening a bit there. Cory Booker, New Jersey, again, no shock here. Probably will go to Cory Booker, popular senator. Rhode Island, probably. Delaware, probably. We'll come back to New Hampshire later, but just a spoiler alert, this will be safe. Mark Warner, Virginia, no surprise here. Dick Durbin, Senate Minority Whip, will probably get back his seat again. Tina Smith in Minnesota, shouldn't be any hard time there, although she is not as well known as Amy Klobuchar, but she will still probably win her seat there. Now, I think that's it for the safe Democrats. Now we're heading to the safe Republicans, obviously the Midwest. We have a retiree in Wyoming, but it will probably stay, Republican anyway, because it's Wyoming, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, honestly, Mississippi, we'll hold off on that. Alabama will hold off on. Tennessee, safe. Kentucky, we hold off on. West Virginia. And I think that is it for the safes. Yes, that is it. I think I actually missed Ben Lujan will probably win in New Mexico. Shouldn't be a surprise there. Pretty deep deep blue state now. Actually, you know what? I think that we are also going to shift Michigan also to the safe Democratic column. The reason for this is because Gary Peters, yes, John James is kind of well known from how close he came in 2018, but I do think that Gary Peters will retain a seat here, and polling does kind of back that up as well. Jeanne Shaheen will also be safe, and the reason for that is also polling. Although New Hampshire is a bit less Democratic, or I shouldn't say Democratic, a little bit less liberal than most of the other states in the Northeast, in all likelihood, I do think that Jeanne Shaheen will retain her seat here, because there really isn't a big candidate against her, per se. That's it for the safes. We're going to now head to the likelies now. Colorado, John Hickenlooper here. We are pretty close to moving this to safe, but really not yet. Essentially, if you don't watch our other videos, if you didn't watch our other videos, John Hickenlooper was a very popular governor. I think at one time he was the most popular governor in the country. Colorado has shifted to become a pretty Democratic state. The current incumbent is Cory Gardner, who is a staunch Trump ally in the Senate, and that is definitely not good for him considering how blue Colorado has become and how unpopular President Trump is in Colorado. Additionally, due to Hickenlooper's popularity, that's obviously going to impact that. Cory Gardner is also very unpopular. So we do not think that we do not think that he has a good chance here. And also polling supports that as well. So at the end of the day, Hickenlooper will pick up the state of Colorado. Actually, that's it for likely Democratic. Okay, so now we're going to head to likely Republican. Likely Republican, Mississippi, Clyde Smith. Yes, I do think the margins will probably narrow up here, but Clyde Smith pretty much has this one in the bag. This is a rematch of the special election between Mike Espy, who surprisingly came pretty close to Clyde Smith in 2017, I believe. But Mississippi's a dark red state, should have no issue there. And Alabama, Doug Jones is the current incumbent. He is a Democratic senator. He is the only Democratic senator in the South, I think, actually. Yeah, with the exception of Virginia, he's the only Democratic senator in the South. And we just feel like it's such a deep red state. Polling backs up that Tuberville is doing a lot, is leading him by quite a few points. He got lucky. Doug Jones got lucky in 2017 because he was against a really bad candidate. Roy Moore had a bunch of scandals, had a bunch of accusations. So he simply got lucky. And even then, we thought Moore was going to win, but in an upset, Jones pulled off the victory. So we think Tuberville will win this race, regardless of what happens. Kentucky, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Obviously not popular. He is the second most disapproved of senator in the United States, behind Susan Collins. We'll get to her. Yes, he's unpopular. However, he is against Amy McGrath. She actually ran for the House of Representatives in 2018, I believe. She came relatively close to winning against, wow, I'm blanking out the name. It'll come back to me. But she did come kind of close to winning that seat, so she got some name recognition. She is considered to be a pretty good fundraiser, but I do feel like at the end of the day, John Hickenlooper. I do think that Mitch McConnell will win this at the end of the day. And I think that should be one more. South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is pretty well known. Now he's a staunch Trump supporter. Jamie Harrison did tie in the most recent poll with him, but I don't think that it'll absolutely not be that close. Because in my opinion, I do think that South Carolina is still such a deep red state. Well, it has been seeing some changes. I don't want to say it's necessarily deep red, but it's relatively red. Lindsey Graham is a well-known name, and I do think he probably will get reelected here. Unless things change in the future, we'll keep an eye on South Carolina as well. All right, that is it for the likely Republican state. Oh gosh, I do this every episode where I say that's it. But anyways, Alaska, Al Gross versus Sullivan. Yeah, Sullivan is not polling too well against Gross. I think he was up about 3 to 5 points, somewhere around there. The thing is, there's a lot of undecided voters, and at the end of the day, a lot of them might be moving to the column for Don Sullivan. So we do think that Don Sullivan will pull out a win here. For some background information, Al Gross is an independent, but he has said, I believe, that he will be caucusing with the Democrats should he win the race, which, looking at it right now, it's pretty unlikely, considering that although Alaska is tilting to left a bit, it is Alaska, hasn't voted Republican in a very long time. All right. But the thing is with Alaska is that although they always do vote Republican on the presidential level, they did have a Democratic senator from 2008 to 2014. Before, obviously, 2014 was a red wave year, so a lot of seats were picked up. All right. That's it for likelies. Oh my God, I keep missing them. Texas, John Cornyn. This one is also likely. Cornyn is not as well known as Ted Cruz was in 2018. But something else to note is that he does absolutely not face an opponent that is as well liked and well known as Beto O'Rourke was. He is currently against, I believe it's Hagar. I think it is Hagar, who has not received as much funding as Beto did. Beto got so much funding. If you don't remember, Beto came 2 points short of defeating Ted Cruz, which didn't happen at the end of the day. He is considered to be a rising star. Hagar, a lot of people don't know who she is. So we don't think that Cornyn should have any problem, because we got to remember, Beto visited all counties in Texas, which Texas, I believe, has the most counties of any state in the United States. So he visited every single county, which is kind of incredible for someone to do. So at the end of the day, Cornyn doesn't have a Beto-like candidate. to go up against. So we don't think that he will have any issues seeking re-election against Hagar. Alrighty, we're gonna now head to our. Let me just. Yeah, that's it. Finally, we're gonna now head to our leans now. The first lean is the state of Arizona. We are very close to moving the state to likely, but not quite yet. Martha McSally versus Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly is a very well-known figure. He is an astronaut. He is well-known by like many people. Even children know who he is. Him and his brother, Scott Kelly. Mark Kelly is married to Gabby Giffords, who was a representative from the state of Arizona before she resigned. And he is very well known. Arizona is also a state that is shifting a lot to the left now. So keeping that in mind, we do think that he will definitely have an edge here. And to add on to that, Martha McSally is very not well liked. Governor Ducey appointed her to the seat, which was, in our opinions, a very bad decision because she ran in 2018. They voted Kirsten Sinema over her. And to choose someone who just lost their election in 2018, people are going to have that, they're going to remember that. So that was really not a good decision for him to make. As a result, we do see a victory here for Mark Kelly, and polling also supports that. So we do think this one is a lean. Very close to likely, though. Alrighty, now let's head to Kansas. We made a video on this one. Kansas is actually weird in that tilt if Kobach wins this primary, we're putting it this at tilt. If not, this is a likely for Roger Marshall. Why is it tilt? Because Kobach is a terrible candidate. Before running for governor in 2018, he was the Secretary of State of the state of Kansas. He was very controversial, pretty unpopular as well. So when he ran in 2018, he lost to a Democrat Laura Kelly for governor. But he lost to a Democrat. That kind of exemplified how unpopular he is. Now 2020, he's running for the Senate against Barbara Boyer, who is a solid candidate, does have solid experience. As Pat Roberts is retiring here. Polling does show Boyer actually leading some of the polls, so that's why we're putting this one as tilt. However, should Marshall win, Marshall does look to be the better candidate against Barbara Boyer. Should Marshall win, it's a likely. I think it's a likely in that case. But let's assume that Kobach does win, so we'll give this one a tilt. All right. We're going to also now head to, let's see. Let's head to Maine. Maine, we are very close to putting lean. You know what? I think we're going to put it as tilt still. Yes, a recent poll did show Sarah Gideon trailing by 8 points, but we think that's absolutely an outlier. We don't think that that's actually what the polling looks like right now. All the other polls do show Gideon leading. Gideon is the current Speaker of the House of Maine. So obviously that will help her a lot, as that is a very solid experience. Because it kind of gives her that leadership role there. And in addition, Susan Collins is very unpopular, and that's because she has been taking too many partisan decisions, and the Maine voters do like their senators to be not so partisan. For example, Angus King, who is actually an independent, Olympia Snow, and Senator Cohen. 3 examples of how they've always wanted to elect more of those centrist Democrats or Republicans, and Gideon is an example of that. As I said before, Susan Collins is the most unpopular senator, which will absolutely hurt her in this state. Let's now head to Georgia. Georgia Ossoff is here. We're giving this lean now. This is the race between John Ossoff, versus David Perdue. We don't think that Sorry, let me read that. At the moment, polling does show Ossoff leading in some of the polling, but we do think that Purdue will probably edge out a win at the end of the day. That's why we're giving it a lead, not like a likely, before we actually put this one as solid. But we've obviously seen shifts in the polling, so we're going to give this one lean. And also, we're seeing a trend of that shifting to the left now for the state of Georgia. Let's actually hit this Georgia special right now. Kelly Loeffler's seat here. She's currently entangled in a insider trading scandal. So she is definitely not considered to be a very good candidate. Doug Collins, on the other hand, who is also another Republican. Should Doug Collins win, he has a pretty good shot here. And I do think that Doug Collins will win the primary here, so I do believe that Doug Collins, at the end of the day, will be able to take this seat. It's just that the people, the candidates they brought up in Georgia are good, but they're not the best. If they put up Abrams here, that would have definitely probably could have allowed them to win because she is very well known now. Alrighty. Let's now head to, we got 3 left here. Let's start with North Carolina. North Carolina, polling. What does polling show? Polling shows Cunningham up by a comfortable lead. Tom Tillis, for those who don't remember, he actually was elected in 2014. 2014 was a red wave year. Several Republicans were elected to Congress. And in the loop with that was actually Cory Gardner, who I mentioned before from Colorado. So both these candidates were elected in red wave years. Therefore, that really helped them. And looking at it right now in 2020, we don't really think it will be that much of a red wave as it did in 2014. We don't even think it's going to be a red wave. As a result, Tom Tillis is also a very unpopular senator. Believe within the top 10 most unpopular, maybe even top 5. Cunningham has a decent amount of experience. He was a state legislator. And taking everything into account, we are giving the state to Cal Cunningham here. Additionally, we could see higher African-American turnout as a result of the recent Black Lives Matter movements. Maybe not even to vote for the Democrat in the Senate, but maybe even to vote out President Trump and vote for Joe Biden. As it is a presidential election year, higher African-American turnout could also be to vote for Joe Biden. And since many people do tend to vote down the ballot, they might also be voting for the Democrat for Congress, which in this case would be Cal Cunningham. So for those reasons, we are giving this one a tilt D. Montana, this is Steve Bullock versus Steve Daines, as Eric calls it, the double Steves. Steve Bullock, very popular governor. Actually, before I get into that, I do want to talk about Montana a little bit. People there don't really vote down the ballot like in most other states. Montana in 2016. Bullock ran for governor in 2016, and he was reelected. That same year, Donald Trump was running for president. So some voters obviously decided to choose to vote for Trump, and at the same time voted for Bullock as well, because the state went to Trump in a comfortable margin, but Bullock pulled out a win on the governor level as well. So it's very interesting. And they also do have a Democratic senator, John Tester, who was reelected most recently in 2018. Initially, we used to put the state as tilty. New polls did come in that showed Daines leading by 3 points and 1 point. Very slim margins. We are still going to put this one as tilt D, but a lot less tilt D than before. We are leaning towards putting this one as toss-up. But we do think that at the end of the day, it probably, you know what, I think I will put it as toss-up. The state will become a toss-up now, due to simply the fact that we do see the polling changing a slight bit. We don't want to make early assumptions yet because we do have to wait for more polls to come in. But for now, we will be putting this one as toss-up. But that is very much subject to change. If you told me that I had to choose someone to win the state, I would say Bullock at the moment. But genuinely, it's a pure toss-up. And now the final state is Iowa. Joni Ernst, who is not too popular, versus Teresa Greenfield. Polling completely shows Greenfield leading. In our polling video a few days ago, I think Greenfield was up by 2 points it was either 1 to 2 points, somewhere around there. Polling obviously is not our main indication. Iowa is a pretty conservative area of the country, went to Trump by 9 points in 2016. Iowa's another interesting one. We are also going to be moving Iowa to become a toss-up because at this point it can really go either way. Because Greenfield, she's an okay candidate against Joni Ernst, who is not too great at the moment, which polling does kind of show as well. So looking at the map right now, it is a 48-50 split with 2 toss-ups, meaning that should Joe Biden win the presidency, Democrats will Democrats will take control of the Senate. However, should President Trump win, the Republicans need to pick up Montana and Iowa in order to retain the Senate. And with that being said, that is the end of the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like our content, please subscribe. We'll see you in our next episode tomorrow. See ya!